Jeremy here again. I am going to show you how I would fix the terrain. I just want to make sure that you understand what that means ultimately. So you already have these steps built here. The pulling up the terrain so that you don't have steps to come down into this area is going to cause you to lose those steps. And if you're fine with that, that's completely fine. But I just want to make sure that you understand what that means. Otherwise, you would have you would have to have some weird retention wall in here, and at some point you'd still have steps coming down. So if you're okay covering up these steps, which I think are beautiful, then that's fine. I'm sure Tommy would have no problem backfilling that area and raising the elevation to match. So this is what I would do here. So if we look at, let's see, hardscapes, let's look at the elevation as 1 foot. So I'm going to go back to terrain. I'm going to set my terrain tool to 1 foot. And let's go a little bit bigger here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just raise all the terrain in this area to 1 foot. All right, so there we go. And then everything will come up with it. And then this side yard will end up having to slope a bit, but we can smooth that out. So this side yard will slope down, and I'm just kind of smoothing out the terrain right now. The other issue is the fact that if you pull the terrain up over here, then you're going to have an issue with the air conditioning units, if that makes sense. So because we cannot change where the air conditioning units are. We can't bring those up with the changing terrain. So now that I'm looking at this, what I'm going to have to do first of all is so you're going to have some steps over here, and I'm going to draw it right now with you kind of watching so that you understand what that means. So if we go hardscapes, first of all, I'm going to bring all these hardscapes up to that 1 foot elevation. I'm going to bring this up to another foot, and then all the planters, of course, are going to have to come up as well, and everything with it. So we would just follow terrain there. Good. Let's see. Are we good? Are we good? Yes, that's good. Let's follow the terrain there. And then you're going to see that right now those steps are going to be buried. So let me go ahead and pull those steps out so that that terrain can come up. There we go. I'll just leave that step there as a landing. There we go. And let's go out of 3D, back into 3D so it cleans that up. There you go. All right. Now we get rid of this step here and then cycle to 3D again. And it's going to clean up the terrain, right? Obviously, that's changing those planters, and I don't know what you guys' plan is for the planters, but let's go ahead and get rid of this drone image so that we can dial into those planters a little bit. And once again, I'm just doing this while I'm on the call with you, or while I'm shooting this video, because it's going to be easier for you to understand. So I'm just kind of reshaping some things here. Yep, that planter is going to have to come over here up to that step. Be precise. There we go. Make sure my snaps are good. All right, and let's just curve that planter a bit, right about there. All right, so now we're looking at this. Now, the problem, once again, the problem that we're going to have is if you raise the elevation over in this area, which is fine, you're going to have to run a retention wall directly across from those AC units, because we cannot raise those AC units with the terrain, and then you're going to have like this weird slope happening over here. So what it might look like, and I'm not sure if this is how close to the corner of the house those AC units are. I'm going to hope maybe they're actually a little bit further this way. But this is how I would handle this. I would go back to hardscapes and create a little retention wall, here, and pull that along to, I guess, essentially tie into that. And then that would hold all that dirt back, and we probably just pull it all the way across here, and then fix this planter so that it's not going past that point. There we go. Get rid of some of these plants. And then what would happen here is, yeah, let's bring that up to where it needs to be. I'm not sure why that's so far down. We're going to go 2 feet. Or is that 18 inches? There we go. That's where we're at. All right, and that should be. All right. Now, what would happen here is you would have some steps that are coming down. So let me drop the terrain in this area. We're going to go back down to 0. There we go. Whoops. And terrain functions are a little tricky to work with. So what I'm going to do here is let's convert that to, no, we're good. All right, go back to hardscapes, fix that wall. We are not following the terrain on that. We are going to bring this up to 1 foot. No, 1 foot 6 inches. There we go. And then we would drop the terrain here down to 0 or lower. I think it's actually going to be about -6 if I'm not mistaken. That's all going to come up here. These planters will come up. There we go. Make sure that all the hardscapes are not following terrain. Yep, we're good there. There you go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. There we go. Hopefully, this is starting to make some sense here. I would bring all this up to level. Let's bring this here. And thanks for your patience. I just figure it's best to just do this while you're watching. It'll really help you understand how all this works. And I'm going to bring that up just a bit. Go. One, 2, 3, 4. All right. So now that's leveled out. Let's look at the back end. Now it's going to have to drop. There. All right. There we go. Okay. So now I think we're getting closer. Now the problem is that's going to be elevated because once again you can't mess with these AC units. That's not something that I think can be moved, at least not without an extremely high expense. So I would suggest making sure that everything stays where it's at there, leveling out most of this right down to where it's going to go down to the front yard. There we go. And then you would be left with a couple steps here coming off of that little retention wall. And let's stretch this across. Stretch this across. I'll probably just do it right here. Or maybe all the way across. You're going to have to let Tommy know what you want to do here. But this is, once again, this is what would be expected if we're trying to augment all the terrain in the area and you know, make it look the way you want. So let me just change this material real quick so it's matching. Otherwise, you're going to see that little glitch there. So something like that. That is essentially what you would have to do if you raise that whole area. So one thing is you're going to get rid of the steps for the guest house, and then the other thing that you have to think about is the fact that you're going to have a retention wall, because bringing in all the dirt over here is going to cause a lot of problems. Hold on, let me get my terrain back where it needs to be. Sorry. This is part of the design process. It just, you got to go back and forth and keep tweaking things. Here we go. And elevation. And boom, let's pull that up. There. So and one last thing, and I'll be done with this section. We're just going to go ahead and make sure that's all level. Planters, there we go. Let's do this. I'm going to trace this. We're going to go here, here, all the way through here. Sorry, I have to really dial into this detail. All right, keep that on 0. All right, wrap that, bring this through, and just about finished. So what we're gonna do is make sure that all of this is nice and level. There. All right, change this to grass. And get you back to planner. There we go. Let's drop that 1 inch. There we are. Go back to materials. Make this 3D grass, looks better. There you go. And I need to clean up that planter because we took the step away. And one more. Good. All right. There we go. Now, once again, I'm not sure exactly what you want to do with the planters back in there. I'm going to leave that up to you and Jerry Ann. I know that she said she had some changes she had to do to the design, but that's what it would take to elevate this whole backyard area to 1 level so you don't have any steps. And I hope that makes sense. Of course, you know, we're happy to do it. I just want to make sure that you understand that that means covering up the steps that you already have there at the guest house. And I think it's a pretty solution. I'm all for it, of course, but I just want to make sure that you understand exactly what that means. So this has to go down. Let's go back to where we need to be. So planter, that's going to be 1 foot. 1, 2. But you can see how changing the terrain is somewhat complex. It gets a little tricky, and we need to make sure that our hardscapes are where they need to be. Yeah, that's good. And one more little adjustment. Let's look at one thing here. And I'll clean up everything here because you're going to have all kinds of stuff now that need to be changed because of changing the elevation, which is fine. It just takes a little bit of time. And keep in mind, Jerry Ann and Tommy they only use this program very sparingly. They don't use it enough to be as quick at changes as me, of course. So, but they do know how to use this programming and can do the landscaping and so on and so forth. So I want to make sure that we are getting everything in there the way it's supposed to be. There we go. Good. All right. But I'll continue to clean this up a little bit, and then that way we'll be ready to really take a good look at everything once we're together. I'm going to go ahead and drop that planter and get back to 3D and see what's going on here. We got a couple little artifacts in there that are driving me nuts, so let me fix that real quick. Boom. Let's go to custom grid. There we go. And you'll have to ignore these little artifacts that are popping up. It's just sometimes there's little things with the program that cause it to do some funny things, but that's all level, and that's going to give you a good idea of what that space is going to look like if you elevate everything the way you'd like. So just let me know what your thoughts are. Happy to make changes. But yeah, just send them my way, and then we'll nail down a spot for Friday to meet up and get things moving forward. All right, I hope you're doing well. Raise that just a little bit more, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks a bunch.